Alright, so I've basically finished the charcoal underdrawing here that I'm going to work with. And I am trying to do this with the limited palette that we have so that you guys can see how I'm working with the colors to kind of mix everything, even though we are limited by just 12 pastel colors. If you want to go and get more pastel colors, Reeves is a good cheap student brand, and it's really relatively inexpensive to get even like 32 colors. And then you have a much easier time kind of getting exactly what you want. But for our purposes, since what I'm handing out to everybody is 12 colors, this is what I'm going to use to accomplish the goals. Essentially, I'm going to go in with a brown into the shadow areas just to kind of get that in there, and then I'll probably work in a bit of peach and orange. On this side, I'm going to probably use the peach and the orange, and then maybe use some blue with some white for the highlight areas, because essentially what we have happening in the photograph is kind of a cool light source with warmer shadows. Okay, so remember to go in and just loosely holding the pastel. I've fixed the picture, by the way. I've used some Prismacolor fixative here. Just holding it lightly and just kind of starting to scribble that color into there. Don't be surprised if you do end up losing some of your basic shape through layering. It's okay. You will be able to get it back. And you can see the underdrawing through the pastel. The pastel is just kind of a thin layer of color that we're working up. We're going to put some of that brown into her lips because she's got this sort of brownish red. Something else that I noticed about her when I was drawing her is we discussed the ideal proportions in class, which is the eyes are at the center of the head, and then from the eyebrows to the bottom of the chin, the nose goes halfway, and the eyebrows fit at about a third. Well, as just absolutely gorgeous as this model is, she does not really fit into ideal proportions. She does have a smaller nose to chin area. Everything else seems to be pretty ideal. The eyes are basically in the center of her head, but from bottom of nose to bottom of chin, it's not exactly an equal distance as it is from bottom of nose to eyebrows. So, like I said in class, most people fit into that ideal generally, but you will find some variation. You'll have to use your judgment. If, as you're drawing in those ideal proportions, things aren't quite working out exactly the way that you want, you can always take your pencil and cite with your pencil, either with your model or the photograph. You can cite and you can decide, hey, is that space from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin, is that really, equal to the space from the eyebrows to the bottom of the nose? And if it's not, make your adjustments on your picture. Ideal proportions are great for getting that basic idea in there, but ultimately you do have to use your judgment. Because I have this peach color, I have this orange, I have this brown here, and it feels like that base, that local color of her skin kind of fits with all of these. So I'm going to have to kind of work to sort of mold that color in. And I think what I may do, because it's easier to lighten up with pastels than it is to darken, I think I may go ahead and do sort of an underlayer of this brown, even though I've done it on the shadow side. Because we're so limited, I think I'm going to do an underlayer of this brown on the light side very lightly, just barely putting it in. It will still be darker on the dark side because I have that charcoal shadow underlaying. And I'm not going to do it even as strong as I did on the shadow side. And then I'll cover over it, probably with a bit of orange, and then some peach, and we'll see from there. And if I have to make color adjustments, I will. It's kind of all, it's all an experiment. It's all about changing and modeling your way into the colors and shapes that you want. If you find that the corners of your pastel are too sharp and you're getting these sort of strong strokes, you can always take it on a separate piece of paper and just draw it and work it down, or even a piece of sandpaper to kind of round them off and soften them out. But at the same time, I don't usually, when I'm working with these sticks, I do have pastel pencils. Those are very expensive, and I did not start out using those. With these sticks, I like to have a couple of corners that are soft, but I like to keep one or two corners nice and sharp as well, because then I can just get into that detail areas, particularly like highlights or very thin shadows, maybe for reflected light. I can get in there and I can draw that detail with that corner. So just round a couple out and then keep some of them sharp.